Our next guest is chairman and founder of a company that's making private aviation more accessible. Thomas Flohr founded Vistajet in 2004. It's the world's fastest growing private aviation company and uses an innovative business model that sells flying hours to clients on demand. He joins me now in the studio. Well, I guess you're not counting your pennies like some of the leaders in the Eurozone.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very good. So demand for private jet flights slowed during the credit crisis somewhat, right? Where do we stand today?
That's correct. I mean, the market has recovered tremendously over the last 12 months. If I just share a couple of passenger numbers with you, we transported over 20,000 passengers in 2010. That's about a 25% increase over 2009.
So whereabouts has demand remained robust?
Well, it's really the emerging markets. It's Russia, it's the Middle East, it's the west coast of Africa, which was a big surprise for us in 2010. And it's the long-haul traffic. It's much less the hopping from London to Paris of what was traditionally known as, you know, the bankers' market.
So more long-haul flights, more
That's what
demand for that
Vistajet is
than the
focusing
short
on.
Okay.
Long-haul traffic between the regions of, you know, the emerging markets.
And in this current economic environment, I'm just interested to know where, you know, who are many of your clients? What sort of background do they have? What sort of businesses are they involved in? It's not just finance, is it?
No, it's actually not at all the finance. It's the entrepreneur. It's the entrepreneur who needs to use the business jet as an efficient business tool. And that's really what we offer. We try to get the client from A to B in the most efficient way, because very often the commercial alternative is not available because, you know, you try to fly from the Niger Delta to somewhere deep in Siberia. Commercially, that would probably take you 2 or 3 days.
And you actually do that? You fly to those places
exactly
like
right.
the Niger Delta and then somewhere as far off as Siberia
exactly
as well?
Right. And it would be the entrepreneur.
Presumably there are risks.
Well, it's really in your operation, and it's in your efficient operation that you mitigate those risks.
And given that you're seeing strong demand from Asian economies, emerging markets, plans to expand in those areas?
Well, in 2011, we want to continue to focus on Russia, Middle East, and West Coast Africa. Obviously, we're in Europe. But what we did different in this market is really combining those areas into one service area. People didn't want to pay for positioning flights. We just charge one-way trips from one area to the other. And when you go out to Asia, that's obviously 12-hour flights. And that's an area we want to focus on.
And so you're looking at partnerships in those areas, are you?
Well, the focus will be obviously China as of the second half of 2011. There's a huge market growing in private aviation. The military just opened certain airspaces in China. They opened 40 they expanded from 40 airports to 160 airports, which will be accessible for private jets. So we see a tremendous growth opportunity in China.
What's been your experience in trying to expand in China? You're mentioning, you know, areas, you want to go into areas where the military has removed restrictions, but presumably there are difficulties there. It's not straightforward, is it?
Well, it is today pretty much straightforward, whereas 2 years ago, it would have taken you a day or two to obtain a license and a permit to fly into China. Today, China makes this available within hours.
So bureaucracy is being streamlined,
absolutely,
so to speak.
Absolutely.
Oh, you've talked a lot about emerging markets. What about plans to head westwards, the Americas?
Well, Vistajet, you know, and I said this from the very beginning, we will never be in the Americas ourselves. We have a very strong partner with FlexJet, which is Bombardier's subsidiary in this business. And we're focusing on any region in the world outside the Americas.
What are the difficulties with the North American market? Why don't you want to be there?
Well, it's very much a commodity market. And if you look at the commercial airlines offering in that North American market, like United, American, you see a dramatic difference to the product which is offered by an Emirates or Singapore Airlines. And I think Vistajet represents much more the Emirates and Singapore Airlines kind of offering in the cabin versus the more commoditized product. Such as the American carriers.
And you've just signed an agreement with Harvey Nichols, which means that your fleet will now carry some of their products. Are we going to see more such deals?
Absolutely. We want to align ourselves with the best brands in the industry, and the service we want to offer in the cabin really, you know, should be the best solution and the best luxury products available.
And very briefly, I have to ask you very briefly, commodity prices have been an issue. We're seeing commodities soaring to record highs. Are you concerned by rising fuel costs?
Well, over the long term, definitely. And we're looking at hedging strategies as a company. And we're in the 90s again from a barrel price. However, the fuel really represents in the private aviation industry only about 17–18% of your total cost of flying. So it's a smaller percentage. Also, Vistajet flies only brand new aircraft, so the fuel efficiency on our aircraft is much better than if you would fly a 20-year-old aircraft.
All right, well, Thomas Flohr, great to talk to you, Chairman and Founder of Vistajet. Thanks very much indeed for coming in.